Wanted to welcome you to CSCI 255 Introduction to Embedded Systems. I'm Bryce Hill. I'm your instructor for this. I'm doing this as a little bit of class prep for you guys, being a little bit more organized than I have been in the past. Let me see. Class is in Main 103. Lab is in lab is over in the NRB, and we've got a text that's not required, and the reason why it's not required is because it's recommended. It's a PDF that I put on Moodle for you. Code Composer, and I should update this. Shouldn't be 5x. It should be something like well, probably I think 9 is the most current. We can upgrade to that one. You should have had some kind of coding before. It doesn't have to be C, because 135 teaches, I believe, Python now, and not Java, and not C. This is a C class, and but our class is C, and you're going to have to learn how to do things in C. Okay, so we're going to develop computer systems and computer architecture, etc. But we're going to be using microcontrollers. Okay, we aren't going to be using full-fledged computers. We will be using full-fledged computers, but anyways, so there are a number of outcomes, topics. We're going to talk about all this stuff. Assignments in labs, 30%. You have to get 80% of those labs completed to pass the class. Homework is 11%. Quizzes are 11%. Exams are each 12%, and then we have a final project, which is 12%. So pretty even weighting all the way around. We have a schedule for this semester. This is the first time I've taught it in the spring, and so this schedule is a little bit new for me, but everything's pretty much the same. We might have to adjust this because Lab 1 I have on the 13th, but I don't think anybody's going to have their kits by then. And so what we have to do is we're probably going to have to delay all the labs just a little bit. And that's okay. That gives us 2 weeks. There's no class on Monday the 20th, to my knowledge. And so what we're probably going to do on this day is we're going to do kind of a lab overview and distribute kits and get you all familiar with what we're going to be doing with the microcontroller and what hardware exists. And that's probably what we're going to be doing on this day. So we will have lab, but we aren't going to have lab 1. We do have homework. This should already be posted. It's due on the 17th of January already. We have to learn how to do bitwise stuff. And then we also have to learn how to do bitwise in C. And so all of these will be posted on Moodle, along with the lab assignments will be posted on Moodle. And I can bring that up for you if you'd like to. We can go here, and this is pretty standard that we go to the MyMTech. And everything you've just seen should be here in Moodle. Just waiting for it. And if you go, I'm not going to post anything under the lab section, but everything should just be under the -01 section, the lecture section. And so that the homework, the reading, DLD is digital logic design. And so if you look at DLD, that's this book right here, Digital Logic Design, MSP 430 User's Guide. There's Microcontroller Basics, which is the book that I recommended, and so that one's right there. You can buy that, or you can find it digitally otherwise as well. Digital Logic Circuit Analysis Design, that comes up in here a little bit. It helps us understand these things. There's an MSP 430 User's Guide, so all these things. I also have some code helps. This is MSP 430. I'm going to change this really quickly, make sure that it includes the .h. That's the .h file, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. There is the C example code here, and so you can see that we're going to be using a lot of this Moodle section. I'm going to post videos on how to get started. I'm going to post these videos in the Moodle, and so I can even come here right now and I'm going to say lecture videos. And if I could do the Spaceballs thing where I could zoom forward in the future, you could watch me paste this video into this section right here. Which is that's kind of a joke, but you can imagine that every time that I record a video, I'm going to put it up there. We are going to be using an iClicker in class for the quizzes. And so so you'll need to get an iClicker. You need to buy a couple of things. I have a kit for you that I'm going to show you here in 1 second. But MSP 430 EZ 430. Let's see what we can find. No, it's not EZ 430. MSP 430 G2. Let me see. No. MSP 430 EXP. That's what it is. EXP G2. I'm pretty sure. No, it's not that one either. Okay, here it is. EXP 430 G2. EXP 430 G2. There's two different versions of this. This is the old one, which is just the G2, but there's also a G2 ET. They're about $20. I don't know why the ET isn't coming up. EXP 430 G2. This might be the newer one for $20. Let's see if that is. This is the newer one, so this one works as well. So you want to get one of those. I sent out an email earlier about which one it is, and so those things are helpful. You're also going to need to get a jumper kit, wire jumper kit, and not these kind of jumper wires. These kind of jumper wires, $6. It's not much. In fact, this is overkill. You probably need half of one of these or a third of one of these. So get with a buddy, pay your $2.50, and each get those. And the 7.8 inch is probably a good size. I'm starting to like the 4-inch better, but for you guys, it's probably going to be better to have that. In addition, we're going to do a kit that I'll show you. So on that first day of lab, what we're going to do, and let me just move this up here. So on the first day of lab, we're going to assign you a kit, or maybe we'll have you come to class or come to my office to get it, so I don't have to haul them all. And the kit looks something like this. There's a few things in here. There's a DMM, digital multimeter. There's a power splitter. There is a wall adapter for 7.5 volts. This is a USB to UART with a USB extension. There's a keypad. And then this is my development board that has LEDs on there, has a power jack, has ways to get 3 and 5 volts out of there. Look at that, somebody left a pin broken in there. And then we have access to dip switches and push buttons. This is stuff that I want back. You'll check it out, and then I will check it back in at the end of the semester. And so that's that. Okay, so you're gonna have that kit. Another thing that this is the actual MSP 430, the MSP 430 launch pad that you had right there. You can't really see it on this image very well, but we have a chip in the very center, and we have a row of pin header on each side that attach to each pin. You can't see the pins on the chip, and so maybe what I'll do here is we'll just shrink this just a little bit, and then I'll come over here and we can find the MSP G2, what I call it, EXP 430 G2. And so we can look at one of these things. This is really close to it. Let's take a look at that. Maybe we can get a little bit bigger there. And that's not a great image either, so we'll go back to here and see if we can find a really nice image of this. Open, image in new tab. That's not a very high-res one as well. I'm not doing very well at this. Let's see. What does it say? Okay, so that one's got to be pretty good. Yeah. Open image in new tab. Okay, that's not great, but it's better than what we've had.
So we've got a 20-pin div package here, and this is an MSP430 G2553. It's not much. This is the microcontroller that we're going to be. All of this up here is programmer, okay? And then we have access to all 20 pins on the left and the right. On this we have 2 LEDs. This is a reset button and 1 push button. That's it. And so our first goal is to get familiar with this hardware and figure out how to use it. But I've got one out here, and I think this is a reasonable introduction to the class and the software and the hardware and what you're going to need to get and how we're going to run this class. And so I will start doing code examples here in a separate video, but this gives us a decent start on how we want to do this class.